All right, what's up, guys? This is the video I've actually considered making for a while, and this is not necessarily a complex topic, but I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize. And I've had a lot of questions for a lot of people. Usually, if they're new to the game or they're trying to get a build together, they're like, hey, what specific stat points do you look for your build? Like, how much strength, how much fig, agi, dex, that type of thing. And the thing I always tell them is stats don't matter. You just have to get a certain amount of. Well, okay, I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna say stat. So base stats don't matter. You just have to get a certain amount of your additional stats, or whatever you want to call them. Like health, move speed. Those aren't your base stats. Your base stats are like Vig, Agi, but they're still technically stats, right? But anyways, so these stats up here, strength, Vig, Agi, Dex, Will, Knowledge, Resources, these don't matter. And what I mean by that is not that it's not like, not that you don't build them, because obviously, you get them on gear, for the most part, and they're good. However, it's not good to get them rolled on gear for certain pieces and for the most part. Because obviously, there will be exceptions. For example, let's say you want movement speed, you have all the movement speed on your boots, you have all the movement speed on your legs, then you want more. How do you get that? Well, you can put on all movement speed jewelry, or you can get agi rolled on, like, your chest, your gloves, your helmet. I mean, this has agi base, so you can't. Like your gloves, because you can't roll movement speed there. In which case, yeah, agi's a good stat. However, generally speaking, certain stats just aren't good. Let me give you a really good example. Strength. Strength right now, it went from the best stat in the game to probably the worst stat in the game. And you're gonna see a lot of people running Grimsmile rings and be like, "Oh, no, you're wrong. Grimsmile like strength's really good. Like I see people running Grimsmiles." Well, so the thing is, the reason people do run Grimsmiles is one because it gives 5 strength, and that's a lot. That's a lot of strength. And people are gonna, Wolf Hunter, the same thing, 4 strength. Like those are a lot of stats, and that's not bad. Base stats that are really high can be good. However, getting this stat rolled on gear, that's where it gets really bad. For example, this has 3 physical power. If I wanted to get strength, I could only roll up to 2 strength. And each individual point of strength gives 1 physical power. So I could roll 3 phys power, which would give me 1 more, or I could roll 3%, which, is roughly the same thing, or depending on the curve, for the most part, the same thing. And you'd be like, oh, well, strength gives you a tiny bit of HP. Yeah, technically, it'll give me like 2 points of strength to give me about 1 point of HP, but then I'm gaining that to lose out on power. Then another thing, like I said, agility. Agility is only good on certain pieces, like I said, like your gloves, chest, or legs. However, if you compare agility to movement speed that you can roll, 2 agility is 2 flat movement speed right here. Like, so I'm at 323. If these were 2 agility, I'd be 324. And if you compare 2 agility, which is the max roll you can get, to 5 additional move speed, that's 3 move speed difference. That's 1% difference. 1.5, same thing. That's, like 3 move speed difference. That's a very, very big difference. But then people are going to be like, okay, well, what do you mean by like base stats are bad? Because, you get them, you have a ton of them, they can't be bad. Well, obviously, like I said, on gear, they're fine. Like, getting 5 Vig or, 5 Agi plus all these other stats, they're really good. However, generally speaking, most of the time, just a flat roll is better. And there will be some exceptions to this. The main exception is generally Dex, if you have enough of it. Because, I don't know if I have any pieces that have just Dex. It's actually kind of hard to find. Oh, I have one right here. Perfect. So, I mean, this is going to give 1 Agi. Or, I mean, it's not going to be completely accurate because it's going to give 1 Agi, which gives a very tiny amount. I mean, I could compare. What is this? This is 1 Agi's 0.2. This gives me, like, 1. So this 1 Dex is giving me about 1% action speed. Well, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you can roll, let's just look for boots and look for action speed. I think you can roll up to 2. There's none. Oh, can you not roll action speed? Oh, am I an idiot? Hold on. Maybe I'm an idiot. Let's just check something. I know not golden gloves. Do like heavy or boots. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's embarrassing because I had no idea you can roll action speed. But generally speaking, you can roll like a decent amount of action speed that's overall going to be about the same amount. I mean, okay, look, like you can only roll up to 1%. So roughly speaking, before you get really high on the curve, that's going to be about the same as that 1 Dex. And apparently you can't roll action speed on boots, which actually makes sense when I think about it. I just never did. So the Dex works here the same way Agi does on other pieces. Like, up here, is that if you want more and you can't get it, this is your only way to get it, because you can't get the actual flat roll. However, one of the biggest things will be flat HP. I think that's where it shines the most. For example, you can get 6 max HP or 3% max health on a chest, or you can roll 2 Vig. 2 Vig is a lot less than 6 max HP. I'm pretty sure it's like 2, almost 3 HP, and it's less than 3% too. So it's like, why would I go for that 2 Vig roll when I could just get 6 max HP? And I think I'm not even going to necessarily say it's an issue that needs to be fixed. I think it's definitely something that's not ideal, because for the most part, just getting these base stats doesn't make you feel that much stronger in my case. Maybe it's different for other classes. Um, because certain classes have things that are like that are differently tied. For example, like knowledge will give you spell cap, but it also gives you spell casting speed. So that's a very good stat for them. However, for physical classes, agility, it's literally one move speed and a very, very small amount of action speed and like interaction speed, who cares? So I have all this agility, and you're like, okay, why do you have all this agility? Well, I mean, the reasoning for that is just because, that's just the build. I was just building I was building like just a million move speed for this build because I was using a halberd originally. So that's why I had to do it, because I had no other way to get move speed. But other than that, like I was saying, certain stats just aren't that good to roll. Like agility, for the most part, you don't want to roll it. Like, you definitely don't want to roll it on legs or boots because you could get a better roll. Like, I would much prefer 1.5% agility, or 1.5% move speed here. That would give me 4 more move speed, which is over 1%. The agility here is fine because, like I said, it's move speed that I can't get anywhere else, so I don't mind it here. However, if I had 2 strength over 3 physical power, that would be less damage. Once again, here, 5 max health. If this were 2 Vig, I would be losing out. And like, you could make the argument, okay, like, one of the roles better than the flat stat. However, the flat stat gives you other stuff. Well, Vig, the problem with Vig is it gives you like HP recovery bonus, which is like it's not like a useless stat. There will be times it's useful, but the amount of time it's useful is so slim. The only time this is really like meaningful is if you have to sit in the storm and heal and you have enough Vig so the storm doesn't damage you. That is pretty much the only time that Vig, the secondary effect, will ever really be useful. Strength, the slight increase to HP is so small that it's basically useless. And then the physical power, like bonus, that's the problem with strength. Is strength, every single place you can roll strength on gear, you can also roll damage, I believe, except maybe boots. No, boots can roll physical damage %. So yeah, so no matter where you roll strength, you can always get another roll that isn't a base roll. That's like phys damage bonus, phys power. That would just be better. So strength is just, it's not a roll that you hate, because yes, it does give you stats. However, there are always rolls you want more than it. And me personally, I feel like the base stat should be the most important thing for gear. Like, I feel like, your base stats, like, I feel like you should want to increase these, and thus you should be increasing your secondary stats, and not, well, strength sucks, so I'm just going to build flat phys power and, increase it directly rather than increasing it through strength. But other than that, not a ton to say. For the most part, whenever you're getting a build, just don't focus too heavily on getting these base stats, right? Like, yeah, it's fine to build them if you need something very specific. Like I said, I have a ton of agility. But for the most part, you just want to prioritize getting a certain amount of these stats down here. Like, health, you don't need to build Vig. Just build a bunch of fucking flat HP or percent HP. Like 3 max here, 5 max here. The only Vig I have is I have a Vig ring here that also has max HP rolled, and then I have Vig gear on. Or like I have 5 here, 5 here, and then I have flat HP rolled. So my flat HP is almost giving me more HP than just the actual Vig I have. Honestly, it might be. I don't feel like doing the math, but yeah. So just don't focus too much on the base stats of gear. Or not the base stats, of getting base stats. Instead, usually you want to look at the flat rolls, which are just going to be better. I said like flat HP, phys damage bonus. And that's something else, is on the bigger pieces, that's where it really shows. For example, you can get, do I have it? Like 5 physical power. You can still only roll 2 strength on chests. So that is 3% power difference. Because 5 physical power give you about 5% power. 2 strength would only give me 2. So that is a giant difference. I'm trading 3 power for like 1 HP. Right? That is just not really a good trade. So for the most part, there are certain rolls that are very good to get because, like I said, agility. If you want more move speed outside of your boots and legs, you can get it here because you can't roll flat move speed. However, getting agility on your boots, not ideal because you always get a better roll. Same with legs, and then that's pretty much the exact same for strength anywhere. Strength can be useful, assuming you already have the other rolls. Like if you have Fizz Power, Fizz Damage bonus, you know, additional Fizz damage, and then you get Strength, it's like, okay, well, you know, not really much else I could roll that's better than this now, but it's like my third best roll, but I have all three, so it's okay. Or my fourth best, I have all four, it's okay. But other than that, not a ton else to go over. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just kind of want to go over a quick little video going over base stats. I think some of these are significantly worse than others. Resourcefulness obviously is still completely awful. Agility isn't a very good stat. Most of the time you don't want this. Generally, I would never be running this much agility. Most of my builds, I have like 20 agility or under, and that's just because like I got unlucky and rolled agility on something. Same with strength. Strength is just not that good. Like, yeah, you can stack a ton of it, and it's, you know, it does something, but for the most part, just getting flat rolls for strength will always be better. Even for will's the exact same way, where you don't really like stacking a ton of will, just stacking magical power is pretty much better. There are a few outliers. Knowledge and dexterity are both good stats because they have really strong curves that actually give you way more. Like, for example, the curve on dex, you can get up to like 2% action speed per point when you have like 30 or something. Knowledge gives you mim cap and spellcasting speed. You're not going to get these two rolls. Like you like just getting mim cap. If you're a bard, this is fine. If you just get mim cap because you don't need spellcasting speed. If you're a wizard or a cleric or a warlock, you want the spellcasting speed along with the actual memory capacity. But yep, nice little short video. Other than that, not really much to talk about. So I will catch you guys next time. Peace.